أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله على آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. We continue with the rulings of marital أحكام rulings in the Surah Al-Baqarah. Last time we talked about al-ila. Al-ila. Ila means the yamin or the oath a husband makes not to come close to his wife or not to have relation with his wife without specifying whether he wants to divorce or not. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the chance only to do that for 4 months, and then has to return during the 4 months to his wife. If the time finishes, he has to decide whether talaq or not. If not, then everything goes back to normal, and if talaq, then he divorces her, right? Now if he refuses to divorce her and not to go back again, then the judge or the Islamic court or anybody who have leadership position, in the community and all of that, in the West, for example, or council of sheikhs, they can divorce that sister, because now she's harmed, she's not benefiting, and this is haram to do, hold the wife like this. And I told you the origin of this was in Jahiliyyah, that a husband, he does not want to be with his wife, yet he does not want her to get married to someone else. So he keep doing this.
But he cannot sleep with her while this talaq going on. No. Let me explain that one. So he is saying that he will not touch his wife, and that's it, right? He does not specify what time. Allah Azza wa Jal said the maximum you can isolate yourself is 4 months. Now, if he goes back and have the relationship with his wife, then the yameen is over, and he has to make kafara of the yameen, like we talked, feed 10 miskin and all that, right? Because if somebody said, I will not touch her, his wife, I will not touch my wife, and did not say the time, did not say how long, he just said, I will not touch you again, something like that. So this is a yameen. It counts as an oath, even if he did not say wallahi. Even if he said not, even if he did not say wallahi. So this is an oath, and then he has to break it. He needs to break it. Otherwise, if the 4 months goes by, then he has to either return back to his wife or divorce, but he cannot keep it hanging. Right? It cannot go more than 4 months. Now, within the 4 months, we advise him, break your oath. Break your oath. If he does not break his oath and go back to his wife, then the divorce will happen after 4 months, right? He has to divorce her, or the judge will divorce her. But this cannot continue more than 4 months. Now, how he returned back to his wife? The scholars differed. The Hanafi scholar said he has to do the relationship. Otherwise, it will not count as a return. And the Jumhur, or the majority, which is a stronger opinion, he can say, I return back to my wife, make witnesses, or go back to his wife and they said, I go back in my oath and all that. Like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. He goes back, he said, Aisha said, but you said, you will not. He said, the month is over and all of that. So, yeah. So now, if the 4 months finish without him returning to his wife, the Hanafi school says the talaq automatic. Oh yeah?
Yes. Talaq automatic, meaning like if a husband isolates himself like this and he says, I will not come close to you, then he has 4 months. If the 4 months finish without him returning to his wife, then talaq automatic. But the majority of the scholars said no, it doesn't. But he has to make the decision, and if he doesn't make the decision, the judge will make it for him. Okay?
How about if both parties like this arrangement, this setup?
What is that?
Like you said, they are not together, but they still want to be married.
Yeah, but that's up to them. This is if the agreement is okay. You know what they call separation here, or they don't want the relationship or whatever, like the reason, and that's okay as long as they're both all right with it. We are talking about when a decision made from one side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? So when the decision made from the husband's side, he has some authority, but Allah doesn't want him to abuse it. You understand, like they used to do in Jahiliyyah. Yani, okay, the man is the one who can divorce anytime, the woman cannot. The man can do this, but woman cannot. But then it is not the ultimate authority. The woman also can initiate the divorce. You know that in Islam, woman can initiate the divorce too. Yeah, for no reason. Yani she can, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, she can say that I'm not happy in this marriage. Yeah, خلاص. I don't want, but she will be accountable in front of Allah though. Yeah, yani no one can force a woman to stay in a marriage that she doesn't want. You understand? Yani if a woman says, oh, I don't want that marriage. Okay, sister, is there any Islamic reason? No. Is there any financial reason? No. Is there any like physical reason? No. I just got bored. I'm just giving you some silly yani like that, right? Who can force her to stay in that marriage? No one. But we tell her you are sinful. If you do that, you are not going to smell Jannah, as Rasulullah ﷺ said, because you have no reason and you're breaking a family, and you are forcing this man to go and find another woman and start the marriage process from the beginning again, and all of this kind of thing. So if you don't have a legitimate reason, the sin is there, but legally or Islamic legality, nobody can force a woman to stay with her husband, and nobody can force a husband to stay with his wife. And I want that to be clear to everybody, you know, like, because people think that it's a slavery contract kind of. It's not. It's not. It's more of pleasing Allah and doing your duties. That's it. Yani, it's to please Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal wants a man and a woman to be married, to establish a family, bring up a Muslim generation, you know, follow the Sunnah of Rasulullah. Allah wants us to do this and fulfill our desire, which Allah created us with, okay, to serve that purpose of having a family for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Someone, they don't find themselves doing that, Allah make ways out, right? Now, if there is a legitimate reason, there is harm, abuse, deficiency in fulfilling the duties from the husband, right? So the husband is not fulfilling his financial duties, physical duties, or, you know, he's abusing his wife by words or by acts, or all these are legitimate reasons for the divorce to take place. But she has to speak, right? She has to speak, because there are some women, they're okay with the abuse, unfortunate, but they just want to live on whatever you convince them. So, oh, fine, until something big happens, right? And we deal with this all the time. You know, the sister is abused, she's slapped on her face, or she's beaten, or, you know, verbally abused and all that. But then we said, okay, what is forcing you to stay in that? You know that there is no way to fix. The husband is not responding, and she does not want anybody to know, and she does not want anybody to help. But how can I help them? You understand? So all those are legitimate reasons for the woman to initiate divorce. Yeah, she goes to the judge and confronts the husband. She proves it. He is asked to divorce her and give her full rights, mahar and everything, full rights. And if he refuses, the judge will divorce her without his will. Yeah, it's called talaq al-darar. It's also, yani people think Islam is like forces the woman. It's not like that. Yeah. So this is one way. The other, what if there is no legitimate reason, but her standard or her expectations are not met, right? And then if she stays in that marriage, she is going to be miserable, her religion will be affected, or she can do haram. Then that's a legitimate reason for her to initiate divorce, but she doesn't get her full rights financially, because that's called khula. You hear about that, right? Khula means she asks for divorce for a compensation. Like she tells the husband, I give up a part or all of my financial rights, and then we separate. We get out, each one in his way. Some scholars consider this as a divorce, so he divorces the wife, right? or they consider it as a split. Means the judge, there have to be witnesses, and the judge or whoever is taking that, he says, okay, you accept, you give him this, you accept it, yes, okay, so you are not husband and wife anymore. Her waiting period will be only 1 period, not 3. And
So
then she can marry.
It's a fake itself.
Oh yeah, big time, big time. And then if she goes, they don't come back together again like that. Now those who count it as like this, as a talaq, make talaq, and then 1 period, and she can marry someone else. If that someone else divorces her, they come back together if they want, and new contract and all that. If those who consider it as a separation, there is another issue with it, that they have to go back with the contract, and there are lots of details in this. But what I'm trying to talk about now as the woman's right, that's the focus I'm trying to get into, that nobody can force someone to be in a relationship that they are not able to be in. The most important part is that you have to have a legitimate reason, and that you are marrying for the sake of Allah, so you are separating for the sake of Allah or getting out of the sake of Allah as well. It's not just to torture the other side or make them feel miserable or anything like that. Yeah, because this is what people think, like you torture somebody or you threaten somebody, if you don't do this, I'm going to get out of this relationship, or if, I'll get out of this relationship because you are doing such and such. So it's just a threat or a punishment, and that's not right. And we have a precedent at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The wife of Thabit ibn Qais, he is a very good Sahabi, very religious, very pious, and he married a beautiful woman. And then after they get married, she come to complain to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She said, "Ya Rasulullah, I don't have anything against him. He is a person who prays, fasts, qiyamul layl. There is nothing in his religion which is wrong, because Rasulullah said, is there anything wrong about his religion? He said no, but akhsha al-kufra fil Islam. Kufr here is not disbelief. There's two kufr, the word kufr means kufr of faith, the kufr of faith, and the kufr of relationship, means not giving the right. Not giving the right. Like Rasulullah said, takfurna al-ashir. Kufr al-ashir means you deny, you are not grateful, ungratefulness, right? And that's a habit in women in general, unless they are believers, unless the faith and the piety does that. There are many negative characteristics, and I'm saying that because I know you understand it, because people misunderstand. When we talk negative about men or women, people take it personal, right? So how come you say that? No, I'm not saying that. This is what Rasulullah ﷺ is the one who said it. He said, تُكْثِرْنَا اللَّعْنَ وَتَكْفُرْنَا الْعَشِيرِ, that you curse too much and you are ungrateful. Is this every single woman? No. This is an ingrained characteristic in women, unless they faithful, unless they have level of piety, objectivity, right? It covers that. Like men, selfish. If I'm saying an ingrained characteristic in men is to control and selfishness. What am I saying? That all men are selfish, but that is a characteristic that easy to find in men. Like when we say women cry very fast. I will say, how come you say that? We are not weak, we are not submissive. I'm not saying this. I'm just saying you guys easy to cry more than men. That's your characteristic. If you are able to control it, good for you. But don't take it like personal thing, right? So when we say that women easy to get emotional and they deny all goodness happen to them or forget by nature. This is their nature. Subhanallah. It's good in many things to be like that. To be emotional and to forget fast is good. Okay? But the characteristic is bad, right? If not controlled. Okay? So when Rasulullah ﷺ said, I find most of the women in hellfire, which is the hadith that disturbs many women, right? And many men come in the defense and make a big deal out of it, right? I found most of the residents of hellfire are women. So people said, oh Sheikh, you are saying most of the women will go to hellfire. Wallah, I didn't say that. I'm not saying most of the women will go to hellfire. I'm saying most of the people in hellfire are women. Right? We have 1 million women. But we have 15 people in hellfire, 10 of them are women. Does that mean 1 million women will go to hellfire? Most of the 1 million? لا, يعني you have 1 million women and 1 million men, right? Out of those two, there are 15 only in hellfire. 10 of them are women, 5 of them are men. What does that prove anyways? About women يعني going to hellfire or men going to Jannah يعني. What does that prove? So the people have some grudge inside, and any word is said, misunderstood, fast, ready to defend, the claws come out. And that actually proves the point. It actually does prove the point. That how you guys are become very emotionally involved without even thinking. That proves the point or not? يعني Rasulullah said, aql is less. He's not accusing you that you are less intelligent. And he's not saying that you are, I'm sorry, stupid. Or your brain ability is less than men. He's not saying that. This نقصان العقل, يعني عقل means you tying a knot of something. You are able to make rational decisions at a very emotionally charged times. Women are not able to do that in general. And they are supposed to be like this. That's actually their asset. If we are both men and women able to do that, then there will be the emotion when it is needed is not there. Right? So we have to balance each other. The rational person who always think rational, that is very dry, right? At times, they are not emotionally involved and they make rational decisions. So the woman needs to be emotionally overflowing to balance this one. And this man needs to be rationally overflowing to balance this one. You get it now? So when Rasulullah said, less aql, he's not saying less intelligent or stupid or their brain is not complete. لا يا أخوان, that's not right. That's not the right way to understand it. He's saying more emotional, less reasoning at certain times. That's why whenever they, husband and wife, they dispute and there's a fight. How you describe the fight?
Women cry, men get angry.
And how she speaks?
Loud.
And what is her main concern in the talk?
She's right and he's wrong.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. But we are talking here logically, right? But in general, how the women speak, it's all about her, right? And how the men speak, also it's all about him being in control, and he feels threatened about it. So he's doing everything logically now, right? He wants to put her down, and she wants to climb up. He's thinking logically, and she's thinking emotionally, and that's why the fight is not good. You understand? Because neither of them is using what Allah blessed to balance the other. You get the idea? She is talking, I am like this, and I am cooking for you, and I'm like that, all of that. And the problem is not even discussed. Yani what they talked about, yani what is the fight is about, is not even there. Am I saying right? Now you're laughing because you can recollect the things. So like, I'm not happy that this book is here. Okay? And why the book is here? You are always like this. You are always putting me down. You are like that, But what about the book? I am trying to talk about the book. And you are talking about how I'm hurting your feeling, how I'm putting you down, how I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's how Allah created you, subhanallah, which is good thing. But you're not applying it right. If you are listening, then you will get what you want and even more later on. Because the man wants one thing only. Wants a very nice wife who listens. Right? Then it will give you more. That's why a smart one is leaving her husband shout and blah, 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 go up and up and up. And she's very calm. Okay, honey, whatever you want. This kind of thing. And then, after he finishes, she's going to get the extra money. She's gonna go to the mall. She's gonna buy what she wants. Yeah, because he is reasoning. Oh, I'm shouting. I'm the bad guy now. Look at me. Look at her. How nice she is. You know, she's doing this. Aql, right? So when he is irrational and nobody's resisting, nobody's threatening his, ego, manhood, and she's like nicely in control, then he comes back to sense. Oh, I'm the bad one now. Look at me, what he did, right?
All men are like that?
Yes, mostly like that. Then
Mostly like
I'm just telling you, wallahi, I swear, this is the whole issue. The man has a big, huge ego. Big one, the size of like a mountain. Doesn't matter how nice he is, how romantic he is to you, he has an ego. The closer you get to that one, the more threatened he is. I'm just telling you.
Keep our distance from
Not your distance, you will develop over time without you even planning. But you over time will develop a sense of, yeah, that's where it is, right? So don't step on it. Because if you step on it, there's a problem, right? There's an issue. So, and it's very complicated. But the issue with the man is, it's a one-way thing, right? So there is no intricacies. It's not hard to figure out. It's not hard to figure out when they're pleased, when they're not pleased. You just need to focus. You need to use your mind a little bit more than your emotions, right? Then you will figure out what pleases them, what not pleases them, and how long it takes them until they come back. Not unlike women. It's hard for us to figure that out. It is. It is very hard to figure out because it's like going all directions. Like you don't know which freeway to take.
We can figure ourselves.
But I'm not. It does not mean that it is hard to manage. I'm saying it's hard to figure out. It's easy to manage. Easy to manage, again, when the emotion out, you also kind of like maintain a level of tranquility, and then we talk about it. That's why how we balance each other. Al-Aql says, when the emotion is high, don't become emotional too. Right? When you see the man is rationalizing everything, don't rationalize too. Otherwise you clash, right? He talk with logic. You started talking back to him logic, then there is a threat to his ego. Right? And for the man, when the woman goes emotional, if he also goes emotional, then a problem too. Right? So when a woman goes emotional, he has to rationalize. When he rationalizes too much, don't go emotional. Alright? So when Rasul says there is a deficiency in aql, it does not talking about the intelligence or the level of sanity or the level of thinking or the level of smart. That's not what is meant here. What it meant is like when you are emotionally triggered, you don't use your mind. Okay? That's what it means. When you're emotionally triggered, mind is not used rationally. That's why he gave two examples. He said, because tukthirna al-la'n, you will curse. I regret the day I'm with you. I regret whatever, right? If you are thinking at that time about what you say, they are very big words.
Yes.
And if I take it emotionally as a man, I divorce straight. If a woman hates me like this, if she regrets the time she's with me, khalas, why I should stay in this, right? So that's why we need to balance each other. تكثرنا اللعن, you curse, and you kind of attack the person fast. وتكفرنا العشير means you are denying all the good things, not intentionally denying, but your vision is blurred. At that time, when you are emotionally charged, you only remember the negative. You don't remember the positive. Even when the man starts saying, okay, who did this, you're not listening to that. It's like you're emotionally charged. Your feeling is hurt. And that's what is all about it. Right? So this woman, Sahabi, come to Rasulullah ﷺ and said, my husband has no problem. But أخشى الكفر في الإسلام. That's the kufr she means. I'm afraid to deny him his rights. طبعا ثابت ibn Qais, he was not a handsome person. He was not a good looking man. Right? And she could not take that. She's a beautiful woman and she could not take that part. So she was alluding to this, that every time I look at him, it's very hard for me to manage. Right? It's very hard for me to accept this marriage. And I'm afraid this will lead me to become a bad wife. And I'm quoting this for you to see the reason of finishing the marriage. How Islam gives the woman that right. Okay, I accepted to marry him for whatever reason. He's a generous man. He prays, he fasts, everything is fine. But I can't accept that. And that's why, subhanAllah, before marriage, there have to be some level of mutual acceptance, right? If you overlook that, it will haunt you later, right? For both men and women. So anyways, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, okay, what did he give you as mahar? She said, he gave me the garden, like a garden that has, fruits and all that. She said, okay, you give him his garden back? Yes, I give him his garden back because he is not going to lose twice, lose the woman and lose the money, right? So give him his garden back, and he told him to give her one divorce, and khalas, everyone went to their own way. So a woman initiated divorce is there also in Islam. So nobody can force a woman, but you have to remember that you are pleasing Allah and there are duties and rights. Okay? So above all. So if you are just focusing on the material aspect and you want to get out of the marriage, you have to have a valid reason. You have to have a valid reason. But if the man is good, he's acceptable, looking fine, he is doing his duties and doing all that, you should stay in that marriage and have sabr to Allah Azza wa Jalla, and Allah will reward you, right? For the children, for the family, for all that. Now the separation issue, what we call separation, yani. There's a different game. But if a husband and wife, they wanted the marriage to continue, but they agreed on lesser rights and duties, or no rights and duties, and just to keep the marriage, that's fine too. And we have also a precedent in this one. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to divorce Sauda bint Zam'a, his wife. Sauda bint Zam'a, his wife, he wanted to divorce her. For a reason or another, he did not find that he will give her her right. So he divorced. And when she knew the intention, she rushed to Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha, her competition, yeah. And she told her, I'm willing to give you my night. Yani the night that Rasulullah come and spend at my house, if he does not have any interest in me anymore, physically or this, right? But I want to stay as the wife of Rasulullah. I want to stay the mother of the believer. I want to be in Jannah with him, sallallahu the highest degree. So please help me keep this marriage. And I will donate my night to you. So he does not have to do that right. Okay? So Sayyidah Aisha accepted the deal. She went and interceded for her and told Rasulullah keep her, and her night will be with me. He said okay, until she died radiallahu anha. So we have a precedent in that too. So if the agreement is fine, as long as there is no transgression or something haram, right? So they don't agree on something haram, or they don't agree on a zulm. The man said, I'm not going to do this and I'm going to do that, you have to do that, and the zulm, even if she agreed, it's zulm. She should not agree, but we agree only on the things that reasonable, that can work out.
Sheikh,
Yes.
the story of Sadiq ibn Qais just now, because of the wife asked for a divorce because she's not happy with the look, like the man is a good man.
Yeah.
So in that case, is it a valid reason? And
Yes, it
will
is.
she be able to smell Jannah?
Yeah. It's a valid reason because, she is saying that, and that her intention is between her and Allah Azza wa Jalla. That's what I'm saying. The Prophet said, you will not smell Jannah, you will do this if you don't have a legitimate reason. But how you know her intention? Only Allah knows the intention, right? So in this case, Rasul ﷺ judged based on what he see in front of him. But that's a legitimate reason because Rasulullah ﷺ said, accepted it as a legitimate reason. Why it is a legitimate reason? Number one, she's a companion of the Prophet, right? And the companions of the Prophet, all Allah is pleased with them, right? So you have to understand based on that whenever they initiate something, when they do something, it is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She sees that it is affecting her. She is not focusing on her salah, she is not doing this, she is not doing that, and she is not accepting this man. Physically, no physical attraction. And no physical attraction, yani, she does not want him to touch her.
Why did they marry in the first place?
Well, that's what I'm saying. There are many ways that people marry, and sometimes they marry even without seeing each other.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she's from that family, he's from that family, they do this and that. That's why Rasulullah ﷺ later he advised, he said, you look at the one that you are going to marry. And he allowed the man and the woman to look at each other, right? So to see that initial attraction. But she accepted, right? So there's a legitimate reason why, because she tried. Yani she tried. She tried to get over it, but she could not. Right? So she coming, okay, two reasons now. I cannot. I'm a good person too. Like she's a good person too. She prays, she fasts. It's not like she's a playful woman, yeah, right? Both of them are good. And now, one of them is okay, because he's happy. He's a beautiful wife and all of that, right? But she's not accepting him. It's a torture for her to be with him, right? And this will lead for her not to fulfill his rights. Okay? So she said, I can't be like that. I can accept this marriage, but I'm not going to allow him to come close to me. I'm not going to cook for him. I'm not going to do that because I don't have it. I try to, but I don't have it. I'm just quoting this to show you that there is a wide area of freedom for both men and women. The other story, which is similar but opposite result. Yani the woman come to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, Ya Rasulullah, my father married me to his nephew, her cousin, so he can raise the status of his nephew. Yani the nephew is not wealthy, is not like well known in the society, but my father is, and I am his daughter. So her father is a leader, is well known. Everybody would love to marry his daughter, to be his relative, right? But he chose his nephew who is nobody. Okay? And he married me to him. And I did not like the way it happened. So Rasulullah said, you want to stay married to him or not? You see the point? So her father married her without her permission. Yeah. So she's coming now, and Rasulullah is stating a rule here. If you don't want, the marriage will not go. But if you do want and approve, the marriage will go. So he made the legality of the marriage based on what? Her approval. So a father can marry his daughter, but the marriage will not be consummated or go unless the daughter says, all right. She said, no, I'm fine with it. I will stay married, but I just wanted all the men to know that they don't own this decision. Right? They don't have that decision without us. So that's why this girl, she is the one taught everybody till Yawm al-Qiyamah that marriage will not go without the girl's approval. Yeah, you understand? So a father can go to someone he likes and say, you want to marry my daughter? And he said, yeah, I want to marry her. He said, okay, I married you my daughter. And there are two witnesses there, marriage is done. Pending the approval of the? Yes. So she will not go to. So they are husband and wife now, pending her approval. Then he come and say, girl, today I married you to someone. Ah? What? Who? That guy. Really? Okay, I accept. Alhamdulillah. No, I don't accept. Khalas, as nothing happened. You get the idea here? Yeah. So, but this is not like, this was in the old times, the old tradition times. Like we have Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, one of the great tabi'een, who was the son-in-law and the student of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Sa'id ibn Musayyib, one of the great imams, actually the imam of the tabi'een. And he had a student, I don't remember his name, but that student was the most intelligent student among his. He comes every day and every day. And then he was absent for a couple of days. So he missed him. He asked about him. And he came. He said, "What happened?" He said, "My wife died." Wife died, or something happened to him. But most likely, wife died, and I don't have Then he said, "Okay, so would you like to get married?" Then he told him, "I don't have any means to get married. Who's going to accept to marry me?" Right? He said, "I will marry you, my daughter." He was kind of shocked, right? He said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I marry you, my daughter. I marry my daughter to you. Do you accept?" He said, "I accept." He said, "Okay, you're married." That's when they're sitting together, right? Then he goes home and tell his daughter, right? That I married you to such and such. She said, "Okay, accept." I accept, right? Then the man, went to his home and thinking, maybe Sa'id ibn Musayyib said it in an emotional time. He didn't mean it. There's no way, This is anyone in Medina would love to marry his daughter, and he's choosing me and marrying me like that. So he was kind of like saying, maybe he will forget. But at night, he heard a knock on the door in his house, right? Then he said, "Who?" He said, "This is Sa'id." He said, "I thought about every Sa'id in the world except Sa'id ibn Musayyib. Everybody named Sa'id. Sa'id who? Sa'id this, Sa'id that. All my friends Sa'id." But he said, "Sa'id who?" Still he's kind of overwhelmed, right? He said, "This is Sa'id ibn Musayyib." He opened the door. He finds that, Sa'id is there, and in front of him there is a woman covered down, right? He pushed the woman inside the house and closed the door and left. So the man was kind of like, "What?" That was true. Yes. Okay? Then he noticed nighttime. He was scared. He said, "If I wake up in the morning and people see a woman in my house, or a woman coming out from my house to buy something, or I am coming and they will do something." So he goes up to his house and he started shouting, "Oh, people of my neighborhood, Sa'id ibn Musayyib just married me, his daughter, and she's at my house tonight." So they all came to him, and he said, "Wallahi, you will not come close to her until we prepare her for you first," right? So they went and they dressed her up and give her makeup and all of these kind of good things, and then they married. Now, when they married, subhanallah, they spend the night, and he is in the Fajr time making his ghusl and going to the mosque, right? So she told him, "Where are you going?" Right? He said, "I'm going to learn from Sa'id, your father," right? She said, "You stay, I'll teach you what Sa'id has. I'll teach you the knowledge of Sa'id." And subhanallah, she had all the knowledge of her father, So he was blessed by the teacher and the wife. Wife and the teacher, yeah. So it tells you here, when you read in the history, you see how the society structure was. It was different. It was better in the morals, in the family, in the social things. Yeah, we might pick things, which is the unfair part, pick certain out of context and try to use our standards to judge it. Right? Oh, how come they marry young? Or a young girl married, right? Now you are talking 21st century standard and trying to apply it on that time, right? That's not right. To pick up something like this and do, comparison. You see? So the women, what is the definition of a woman at that time? A girl who reached puberty. She can be 9, 10, 11, 12, 18, whatever. The time she reached puberty, they make a party for her. Yeah, they used to make a gathering for her and dress her like a woman. When she reached puberty, when her period starts, doesn't matter the age, she's a woman. And that's how even Islam count us as adults. The definition of adult in religion is when reaching the age of puberty, become mukallaf. Yeah, when reaching the age of puberty. So that's it. Now, are they physically able or not? That's another story. You have to respect as well. But we're talking about the general rule. Can we apply this same one here? Not necessarily. Your rules also respected, but don't try to mix or clash or look this backward and we are better because whatever that. No, not necessarily. Right? So today's ayah is about talaq. Talaq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about it in a different context. Rulings, yes, but there is some rahmah in it as well. You'll find some key words there, right? That give mercy, reconciliation, trying to work things out. What all those telling us here? That talaq is not just, as I said, to punish someone or to make someone, or the intention of it is to break families. No. It is actually a way out of a relationship that exhausted all means to work it out, right? All means to work out the relationship, but didn't happen. So this is a way out for two good Muslims to go separate ways. It's understood? So that's what talaq is for two Muslims to work their life out separate ways and start two different families because their family didn't work out. They exhausted all the means. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالْمُطَلَّقَاتُ يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوء. يتربصن means they should wait. يعني should wait ثلاثة قروء. قروء is the plural of قرء, meaning the time of the period, of the time that the bleeding happens or the time between two bleedings. Both are called قرء. So whether you count by the times when the blood starts until the blood stops, or when it stops until it comes again. So that period time is called قرء. So ثلاثة قروء. According to Hanafi school and Hanbali school, Ahmad ibn Hanbal and Abu Hanifa schools, they chose the time of period, the menstrual period itself, to be the waiting time, to be counted according from the start until the stop of bleeding. Right? This is the definition of Qur'an for the Imam Ahmad, for Hanabila and Hanafi. But for Shafi'i and the Maliki and Shafi'i, it is the cleanliness time, right? The time between the two periods. So, two of the Imams chose the period itself, two of the Imams chose the cleaning time. طبعا this the 3 months period is for the woman that the marriage is consummated, not only the contract. If marriage contract, عقد النكاح يعني, is done, but they did not move together, they did not go, they did not have the relationship, and the divorce happened, no waiting period. No waiting. If only the marriage contract is made before the consummation of marriage, right? Before the physical relationship takes place, then there is no waiting period, right? So this is only for the women after the consummation, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the marriage without the consummation, فَمَا لَكُمْ عَلَيْهِنَّ مِنْ عِدَّةٍ تَعْتَدُّونَ. يعني there is no iddah for the woman who did not have the relationship, right? So only marriage contract, no iddah. But for after the consummation, then 3 periods. Also, if the woman reached menopause, like there is no period anymore, 3 months, not 3 period. So it goes by the month. Because the period can be different, right? The period can be within 2 months, 3 periods can be within 2 months, can be within 4 months, can be within 3 months. So it is based on the period, not on the time, not on the count of days, right? But if there is no period for the woman, then she counts by the days, 3 months, 3 lunar calendar months. What is the iddah? Waiting period of the pregnant woman is to deliver. So the day of the delivery, her iddah finish. So if she divorced one day before she delivers, and then she delivered the next day, that's her iddah. If she was divorced the first day of the pregnancy, she has to wait 9 months. So it is the iddah is the time of pregnancy, right? And Allah Azza wa Jal give us those 3 in Surah Al-Talaq. There is a surah called Talaq, surah number 65. And the verse number 4, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, 3 months for the woman who does not have period, and the one who's pregnant is to deliver their pregnancy. طيب, we don't have that situation, but this is also for the free woman. What if a slave woman married to another slave, or someone married a slave girl? So it's two periods. It's not applicable now, but it's good to know. Yeah. The reason of that, Asma bint Yazid ibn al-Sakan, one of the female companions of the Prophet ﷺ from Ansar, she said, I was divorced at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, and there was no iddah for the woman who is divorced. Then this ayah was revealed. This ayah here we're talking about was revealed to give that new ruling. So there was no iddah for the woman before. She gets divorced, no iddah, right? Until someone comes, surah comes, she gets married. So there was no waiting period until that ayah was revealed. Surah Al-Baqarah is a Madani surah, right? It came in a later time. Yeah.
So what happened? I have a girlfriend who got married in 3 months, and then he doesn't like her.
Okay.
He wants to divorce her, and she asked for fidya penalty. She said, "You been married me 3 months. You touch me, and you want to divorce me. You have to pay."
Pay what?
Compensation or something?
Yeah, her right is like her mahar.
Yes.
The deferred mahar. If he did not give it to her, he has to give her. And then there is some nafaqat al-mut'a, nafaqa for her iddah, period. And this can be estimated based on his income, right? And some scholars, they say it's 1 year expenses. Some say it's 2 year expenses, based on her needs and his income, and that's the compensation he pays. No more than that. When people get into marriage, they should know that divorce is a possibility. So it should not be like out of the. And as I said, it's not like a punishment of thing. If you divorce me, you're going to pay that much. It doesn't work like that. What if she is the one who doesn't like him? We just give the idea now, right? See, it has to go both ways. And when people get married, there should be some education, right? This marriage might not work, even you are both two good people. This marriage might work, even you don't like it. So it goes both ways. I know it hurts. I know it is a loss. I know she feels bad because she's the one who's rejected. But also he will feel bad if he's the one who's rejected. Thabit ibn Qais, do you think he was happy when his wife come and say that? He was like cool with it? Even though he got his garden and everything, he was like, oh good, I enjoyed with a woman a little bit and I'll go another one now. He was not happy with it. You understand me, Mr. Sister? So this is the there is a lot of things about that. And actually make dua for me, because this is what I'm trying to write down as a book, or as something about the divorce and its wisdom in Quran and the Sunnah. There's a wisdom behind it. When we get into marriage, we know that there can be divorce. It's why we are like in the Lala Dream Pink Land kind of thing, think practical. There's a romance and the guy coming on the white horse and he's gonna fly me somewhere and all of that. And then he feels, I'm gonna marry like Miss America or Beauty Queen. She's best in everything. She knows how to cook. She's the most beautiful woman. She's gonna pamper me. It's not true. This is not the truth. This is not the reality. Reality check is this marriage can work, and this marriage has a possibility not to work. Right? That's why one of the nice answers about those who wanted to get married with the intention to divorce. There's a very complicated one here. Like some people, they mean, you know.
The seed of the divorce.
Yeah. So the man, he marries a woman, but he does not state in the contract that I'm going to marry you for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. It's haram. Right? Haram to do. But his intention, I'm not marrying her permanently. And this many students who come from overseas or whatever, they do that intention when they come and marry American girls here. And then they divorce them after they finish their study or whatever. So that's intention when they come, right? Yeah, because now, from a technical perspective, the marriage is correct. Because this is only an intention. But this is deception to the girl. Right? It's not that part is not good. That's the not good part. But from a legality point of view, or from a religious point of view, is this marriage valid or not valid? It's valid. Because, you know, he asked the wali accepted, there was 2 witnesses, he paid mahar, you know, all of that. And everybody understand that this is like a legal marriage, like any marriage, right? Assumed that to live, okay? But his intention inside is not that. So it's not, because if it's written or they agree on it, it's not right. I'll marry you for 1 week or 1 month or 1 year or 10 years or whatever. That's not right. Because this is a different category, not good. Yeah. So one of the scholars, he responded to this. He said, why you make that intention? Right? Marry her. And who knows? Maybe, subhanallah, she proves to you, or that marriage proves to you, that that's the one who you stay with. Right? And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But why you have to make intention to break that while you don't know what's going to happen? You get the idea? So marriage, every single marriage have a possibility to be ended and have a possibility to be continuous. Has a possibility to fail, has a possibility to succeed. Has a possibility to continue until both or one of them dies, and have a possibility to be broken after a year or 2 or 10, 20 or 50. Nobody knows. Okay? So when you are in a marriage, you are hoping that you're pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? In a way that Allah Azza wa Jalla. And you wanted this to continue. You ask Allah barakah. You ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless your spouse. You ask Allah to bless this family for you. Protect this family for you. You know, make you effective member. Make you accepted whatever you do. You always pray to Rabbul Alameen about that. If it doesn't work, it doesn't. Make sure that it is. If it doesn't work, it's not because you are disobeying Allah. Okay? So it doesn't work because being out is better for me as a Muslim. Okay? So one of the reasons of waiting 3 periods, one of the reasons, not all, is to make sure that there is no pregnancy. Also, you know, to clear that. And subhanallah, some scientific proofs now that every man has every person have a DNA print, right? And that DNA print stays with the woman, subhanallah, stays with the woman because of that relationship. So there is a print, like a thumb print or a footprint. There is also that kind of print as well. And it disappears within 3 periods. Yes. It disappears within 3 periods. So if another man comes, there's a conflict, and it hurts the woman physically, psychologically, and it hurts her, in that biological way as well. Yeah, there is some research papers about this issue, that the woman carries her husband or the partner, sexual partner's DNA. That's why all the women who have all these promiscuous relationships, all of that, it's not good. It's not good even biologically for her. It's not good mentally. It's not good psychologically. Right? Because like that, even subhanAllah in the animal kingdom, it doesn't work. You don't see like 2 males coming on the same female. Right? It will not work. within the animal kingdom, and we are no different. But Allah gave us choices, right? And we are abusing that. So one of the reasons is to see that there is no pregnancy in the womb.
But I read that multiple partners, good for the pigs.
Yeah, that's why maybe the pigs are haram to eat. Because we're going to take from the habits of the pigs as well. Yeah, there are, as I said before, there are always exceptions for every rule, right? Like, there are some creatures, the male is the one that carries the eggs.
Seahorses.
Yeah, not the female. There are different things. And the iddah, the woman is trusted with it. Yani who is the person that can say my iddah finished? Or the only the woman. That's why Allah Azza wa Jalla said, don't hide what is in your womb. Yani a woman who was pregnant and then she manages that in a different way and said, oh, my iddah is finished, so she can marry someone else. Because this can finish within 2 months and she knows that she's pregnant. She is not bleeding, right? Then she said, I married someone else. If you married someone else and she gave birth after 7 months or something like that, so now whose son is this one, right? So that's why Allah Azza wa Jalla make this as a trust for the woman. She is the one and she's the only one whose word would be taken, right? My iddah finished or not finished? I'm pregnant or not pregnant? It's only the woman, right? So this is very, very important as well. And also the woman cannot, if she's pregnant and then she divorced, she cannot also get rid of the pregnancy as a punishment for that husband or to get out of that. That's haram, that's killing someone as well. There's complications, there. As I said, if talaq is done for the sake of Allah, even though we are hurt emotionally, we are hurt psychologically, but as long as we are not disobeying Rabbul Alameen, we are understanding the gravity of breaking the family, we understand the importance of having a family, yet this is not working, then you go with it. And nobody in the world can say that the divorce is a good experience. Like to carry that title for the rest of your life is not an easy thing to go with, right? It's not a simple thing. Even here in the United States, they think about divorce as something like cool and all that, but it's not. I met with many people who are divorced, men and women, and they are miserable. They're not happy about it. Even though divorce was needed. Even though this relationship was not working and the divorce was needed to get out, yet you will not see that they are speaking about it in a positive way. Okay? Unless, subhanAllah, the divorce happens because, as I said, one of the a couple, one of them, husband or wife, they're disobeying Allah or making a major sin or something like that. Yet it will be also some psychological thing that, I'm not married anymore and I have to do this all over again, and whenever somebody going there, he was married or she was married before, regardless of what was the reasons, right? It's not like somebody freshly starting. It's never the same. So we have to be very careful when we're dealing with this. Yeah, it's very important to everybody look at the divorce and the marriage from rulings point of view. Rulings or dream. That's the two sides of it, right? So rulings, what are my rights, what are my duties? Husband should do this, wife should do that. Talk to the wife, say Sheikh. Talk to the husband, say Sheikh. Like rulings. Or fantasy. Okay? This fantasy have a need because it vents your whatever, right? Restrictions that reality have. Okay, you can dream. But remember you're dreaming, right? Remember it's just a dream. So when you come reality check, you enjoyed the fantasy, but here is the reality, right? And the rulings is to make this reality work. So don't look about rulings that will make you happy, because they will not make you happy alone. And don't live in the dreamland. Live in reality with some dreams and rulings guarding that reality, right? So this way you fulfill your duties You take your rights. But whenever husband and wife come and sit in front of me right here, and they both want to know the rights upon each other, mostly there is a problem. Because when that question comes, means there is no love there. Because when the person loves someone, they kind of give in for them. Right? And when they both give in, it's not about rights and duties. We know the rights and duties. Everybody knows. Yeah. But when you are in a good mood, you kind of give in. Yeah. So when they're not in a good mood, then everybody will start saying, why this is not washed? Oh, why you are always lazy? Oh, you are not doing your job. Why the house is not clean? They will pick on each other because of that. Yeah. But when in a good mood, things will work out. Right? Yeah. So there are rights and duties. They are known, but sometimes I will do your duties for you, and you'll give up some rights for me. You see? Works both ways, right? Okay, coming late, or you want me to come early, or I should come early, but I came late, so you kind of forgive it. And at the same time, I'm expecting something, you did not do it, I'll do it for you, but I don't take it for granted, and you don't take it for granted, because we know each other, we just come in the middle, but that's not the standard thing, right? So that's how it should be. All right. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here give us this piety and righteousness. وَالْمُطَلَّقَاتُ يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوء, 3 periods, and they cannot hide what is in their wombs. So it goes both ways. Like a woman can say, well, I'm pregnant, while she's not pregnant. She wants to extend the iddah too. So it goes both ways. No. Maybe she doesn't want to be divorced. He's the one who wants to divorce, but she doesn't want to be divorced. I'm just giving you both ways, right? So she said, I'm pregnant. Okay. So 3 months, 4 months, well, I lost it.
That was the same with soap operas.
Yeah, you see, but possible or not?
Yes.
Yeah. So Allah Azza wa Jal is warning from both sides. So it's not like to rush because her eye is on someone else, and not to extend because she doesn't want to get out. So, and also from the man's side, you don't divorce out of zulm or out of this, you'll be punished, but the divorce goes. But you will, same thing, like a woman asking divorce without a need, and the man is divorcing his wife out of dhulm. They both will be punished, not punished, they will lose lots of reward. And when Rasulullah says you will not smell the Jannah, will not smell this, it doesn't mean you will not enter Jannah eventually. But it shows the hardship of the Day of Judgment. Like the scholar said, will not be admitted in Jannah on the level of those who practice the sabr, or will not be admitted in Jannah until later when everybody enter Jannah and all of that. They will be just waiting there. Imagine yourself, like you feel entitled to get into a certain place, but you find everybody is cutting you and going in front of you, and you are delayed. And when you enter, you don't find the prime spot that you could have entered. You know, it's just like that. Yes. We did not make plan before.
There's only one car. You can. There's no car on this side. Green one. You can back up.
You take the small car?
I have this one and this one. So either this side or this side. Doesn't matter.
I think better off this side because it's only 2. The other one, how many? 3, 4.
I think 3.
La ilaha illallah.
No.
There's a Toyota and then a small car.
So the man is prevented from doing the divorce out of dhulm or holding his wife without giving her her rights. So he is warned from both. Because zulm, right? Zulm. And the woman is warned from denying or lying about her iddah or things, or asking for divorce without need or without a legitimate right. And the man has the right to return his wife. And I always explain this in a very simple way, because women always come and say, okay, Sheikh, he can divorce whenever he wants and he can return me whenever he wants. Am I a toy in his hand? Right? This is always the argument. You know, okay, he divorced me and he said the word of divorce. And now he said, you know what, I can return you anytime, but I don't want to return to him. You see? We're saying, again, you are thinking, you only, there is a ruling about Allah, and this ruling has a beginning and an end and conditions. Okay, there are beginning of it when it is done, and there is an end of it when it is finalized, and there is a conditions and a procedure. Right?
Yeah.
Procedure. It has to be done in a certain way, in a certain time, and all of that. Divorce, first divorce, second divorce, for a woman, from a man to a woman, is a two-step ruling. Don't take it as, oh, when the word of divorce is done, I run away. No. The word of divorce is done, but it is not executed yet. The divorce will be finalized after 3 periods. So the ruling is not finalized yet. And that is the misunderstanding of all the women who come and they complain. Oh, my husband divorced me. I'm going to go to my parents' house. You cannot even leave the house. Right? So the divorce is done, but not final. The first or second divorce. And if this is the first time a husband divorces his wife, or a second time a husband divorces his wife, it's called talaq raj'i, revocable divorce. Means the husband has the right to say the word of divorce, okay, and he has the right to change his mind within the certain period. If the certain period passes, the divorce is done. Now it is not his right anymore, right? So first divorce, first time husband divorces his wife, he told her the word, okay? She does not run away in the street. She's still his wife. She's still his wife. Staying at his home. Cannot leave the home without his permission. Okay? And he has to spend on her and give her all the rights. If he goes and have this physical relationship with her, khalas, the raj'a is done. If they, oh, I'm sorry, honey, I didn't mean it, I was angry, fine. It counts as a divorce, but khalas, marriage life goes on. Alright? So the divorce is made, is said, but practically did not take place unless 3 periods. Right? 3 periods. He can come same day, next week. As long as it's before 3 periods finish, right? He said, I return my wife back again. So the ladies don't take the word divorce as, okay, he cut it, I'm out. He cannot return me. No, you're not out. It is like somebody insulted somebody, or you say the bad word, hurt the feeling of someone. I'm just giving it the description. I'm giving it some similarity here. But the word of divorce, it severs the relationship if a period happened. So consider it as a 2-phase ruling. Verbal and the reality. It's verbal, is said. Right? It counts as a divorce. One divorce. But it does not become effective unless the period finished. So she waited, first period, clean. Second period, clean. Third period, the last day bleeding stops, so it is not the man's right to return her anymore. It's her word now. Should I come back to the relationship or not? You get it? So if this is the first divorce, he told her the word, they are angry, she's mad, but it doesn't mean she's not his wife. She's still his wife. He's still her husband. Duty is the same. If he dies, if he gets a heart attack right there, she inherits from him. You see? So she cannot come and say, oh, well, I'll go. What if he's a millionaire and he dies now? You want to go?
No, you might think again.
You see? So it goes, Allah is Hakim. Allah is wise. All wise, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is Al-Alim. He's all knowledgeable, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows our intentions and Allah makes the ruling that fits us as humans. Well, don't look to your individual case here. What you are angry, this and that. Yeah, he has the right to return his wife. Unless she proves he's abusive, there's other ways. As I told you before, she has the right to get out of the relationship. Didn't I say that? And we proved it? Yes. So same thing. If a husband divorces his wife, first divorce, it is period. There is a period. This period here, Allah Azza wa Jalla gave a chance for reconciliation. And that's the whole point. She should stay there. And she should actually work. If it is an anger, he's a good man, she's a good woman and all that, don't take it personal. She should be there so he can regret. And she feels and appreciates. And when they cool down, they think about it again and they make up. That's the whole point. But if each one runs away, then it becomes a stubborn, fight here. Fight between two stubborn people. And there is a problem. So Allah wants the divorce not to sever the relationship from the first time. So I have 3 divorces. Okay? So first one, within the period, he returns his wife by verbal or by written, oral or written, and by action. By action. You say, I return my wife. And then the scholars differ whether we make witnesses or not. Better to have witnesses. Better to have witnesses on the talaq. Better to have witnesses on the raj'ah, return. Alright. So if this has happened within the period, they go back again. But it counts as 1 talaq. What if he says the divorce again? That's talaq number 2. Same exact rule. He returns her. Khalas, it counts as 2. What if he does it for the 3rd time? That's not his now. That's not his now. And she can go out because that iddah is not for him. That waiting period is not for him to go back to him. It is for her to get ready for someone else if there are prospects, right? So this is the way it is. So the 3rd divorce, that's why Allah said here in the next ayah, at-talaqu marratain. It's 2 times, means 2 times for you. But the 3rd is not yours, for the man, yani.
So,
if he utters the 3rd one, khalas.
No iddah.
Huh?
No iddah.
No iddah for him. No iddah, she waits 3 periods. Okay. But to get married to someone else. So she doesn't stay at his home, right? And she can go out and get all her rights and everything. But if there are some intricacies there. If a man is married to 4 wives, let's say, married to 4 wives, and he divorced one of them the 3rd time, can he replace her?
yes.
Not before iddah. She has to finish her waiting period first. So there is some hanging issue. Alright, what if he does not return her? Is it divorce number 1 or divorce number 2? We give the cases. Divorce number 1, return. Divorce number 2, return. Divorce number 3, no return, right? What if divorce number 1 and the 3 periods finish but he did not return?
Very complicated, Sheikh.
No, not very complicated.
That means it's divorce.
It's divorce, right? So she has the right to marry someone else.
Yes.
And she has the right to go back to him. If he says, I'm sorry, I should have returned you, but let's get returned again. If she says no, it's no. He does not have the power to do anything. If she says yes, they have to make a new contract. With a new mahr, with new witnesses, with new wali, the whole thing all over again. But still the divorce counts. So it does not renew 3 divorces. You know why? Why? Allah make the rule. Like this, right? If the divorce does not count, So people want to divorce all the time, right?
Yes.
So they divorce and they don't return the wife in the period. Why? Because, I can wait and then we'll make a new contract which renews the whole divorce process. So it is not. So that's why divorce, waiting period, this is your right as a husband. If you passed your right, that's the wife's decision now. So for wives, when the word of divorce is made, it is not like your green light to run out of this relationship. Yes, it is not. Unless it is the third divorce. First or second, yes, he divorced you. Yes, it is bad. Yes, it's not good. It feels awful. But you have a waiting period. This marriage continues, or if the waiting period finishes and he does not return, it's your call. So your call comes after 3 periods. Within 3 periods he return you accept. Unless there is a reason, legitimate reason for you not to stay in that marriage. Okay? Very important.
It happened to my sister.
What happened?
They married and had 2 children.
Okay.
And after that, they got divorced. He divorced her. They waited the 3 months period. He divorced her. Now, after 6 months, she found out that she's pregnant. She didn't know, you see.
But then the waiting period, how they calculated the waiting period? Because pregnant do not have period.
Divorce is already sah and everything. After 6 months, she realized that she's pregnant.
Then?
And then before she gave birth, the Singapore Mu'is, the Muslim society, forced him to marry back my sister.
How they marry back? They are already married.
No, the divorce already done. The government already.
Oh, you mean civil divorce?
Huh? No, it's
So
not
they returned
divorce.
back legal paper. But Islamically, if she was pregnant, she's not.
She doesn't know she's pregnant.
That's fine.
No,
But
until
this,
she's 6 months.
I understand. Let's take it one piece at a time. There are 2 parts here: Islamic marriage and a civil court marriage.
Yes.
Right? Because Singapore is not a Muslim country.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it?
The law. Yeah.
It's not a Muslim country. So there is a law paper, like here in America. There is a civil marriage and there is a religious marriage. Jewish or Christian or whatever religious marriage, Muslim. So you have those 2 parts. Don't confuse them, right? So the government here worries about what? The civil part of it, not the Islamic part of it. So that's why they told him, because they divorced and they finalized the papers, right? So they are in front of the government, divorced couple, right? Not calculated now based on period or pregnancy or whatever. The paper were filed in the court that they divorced. Now, when the religious part popped up, the government said you have to renew the civil one. And that's what happened, right? So it is not an Islamic ruling here for the government part. But I'm talking now about Islamic ruling between your sister and her husband. What is the mistake that took place?
No.
When he divorced her, how old was she? She's in the age to be pregnant. Yani she's not menopause. So that means there is a period. When the divorce happens, she waits for 3 periods. One of the reasons, 3 periods, to make sure you're not pregnant. Now the 3 periods did not happen. It did not happen the first month. She should take pregnancy test. Did not happen the second month. She should know, I'm pregnant now, so my iddah is my pregnancy now, until she delivers. So he can return her back in that period. But she calculated 3 months, not 3 periods. She calculated what? 3 months. So 3 months iddah calculated, and based on that they did the paperwork. Now 3 months calculation for the woman who does not have period. Yani she's older, no period. She calculated by the month. But now she discovers she's pregnant. Means the marriage is still going on. That's why the government told him you have to do the papers again. You get the idea? And then what happened?
So after the baby born, the Islamic Mu'is make him live with her for 1 year. And then after 1 year, he divorced her.
Again? No, but that's again 1 year. This is, I think it's more legal, yani. Because that divorce took place, right? When she was pregnant. Now he returned back to her when she was still pregnant. means it counts as one divorce, but they are husband and wife. It counts as one divorce, right?
Yes.
Because he returned back before the birth took place.
Yes.
Correct? So they are Islamically now husband-wife. Okay? Now, once she delivers, if he wants to divorce her again, that's another story, which I think took place, yani. Basically, they didn't like each other, or marriage was not working.
Stay for 1 year for her, you know.
Yeah, but that's more of a legal aspect. It's not Islamic.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, Islamically, when he returned back to her because she discovered she's pregnant, the marriage back to normal Islamically.
Yes.
All right? Now, they didn't like each other, or it is, the divorce can happen again, whether before the pregnancy, after the delivery, each one have its ruling. But as I said, it's always complicated when you have civil marriage and religious marriage. Yeah, like a woman here, and it becomes a big issue, talaq, always we are faced with it. Like, the man does not want to divorce his wife, Islamically. She goes to the court, and the court grants her divorce. Is she divorced now, or she's not divorced? Can she marry another husband or not? It's a big problem, right? Unless that marriage is endorsed religiously, she cannot marry another husband. You see?
So if she goes to the
Court?
the civil court,
Yeah.
so Islamically she is
No,
still married.
she's still married, yeah. Unless, as I said, she proves that she deserves the talaq. So the husband has to give her talaq. If he doesn't, then a council of sheikhs give her the talaq based on Islamic legitimate reasons. Not just signing on the court paper. And that's a big issue here. It's not a small issue, it's a big one.
See, another question, Sheikh. In Asia, when they divorce their wife, they always say either one talaq, 2 or 3. Sometimes they just say 3 at one time.
Very good question. According to four imams, the four imams, if the husband say to his wife 3 talaq, it counts as 3 talaq. Out of the
This is
relationship.
what happened to my uncle.
But now, because of the talaq became a common musiba
Yeah, common musibah, yeah.
and ignorance,
Yes.
and people have less iman, so the fatwa came, not only now, 600 years ago, yani. Ibn Taymiyyah make the fatwa that 3 talaq count as 1 if they are done at the same time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so if they are done at the same time, a husband tells his wife, "We are divorced," like this 3, right?
That's considered one.
It counts 1 as long as it's in the same time. So it counts as 1. And he used the dalil from the time of Rasulullah sallam, time of Abu Bakr, Umar. Yani, there is some proof for it. Yani. It's not like out of the ordinary, or it did not have a precedent. There is, right? And then all the Islamic courts, or most of the Islamic courts that I'm aware of in the world, they adopt that one. That when 3 talaqs, because otherwise every day you will have thousands of people finish, and most of the people who they regret, they just say that out of anger, right? When a person is angry, he want to divorce his wife only, or he say, "Oh no, I cannot imagine I'm going to be with you again. You are da," like that, like a automatic weapon versus a semi-automatic. Yeah, yeah, because talaq in Arabic, talqa means bullet. The bullet that comes out from the gun is called talqa. Talqa, yeah. Talqa means the bullet, the round that comes out. So you see, you're killing someone and you're killing some family as well. You're killing them emotionally. So it has that meaning as well. So talaq, like that. So it counts as 1 talaq. Now, another issue. What if a husband divorces his wife while she is in her period?
Not valid then.
2 opinions.
2 opinions?
Yeah, some says it is valid, it is haram. It is haram, right? Sinful
Yes.
to divorce the wife while she is in her period. But the difference here is that the talaq work or not. No, sin is sin, right?
Yes.
Like someone make a zihar. Zihar means he tell his wife, I forbid you and me like my mother, or like my sister. That's called zihar, right?
Yes.
That's a yameen. Haram to do that. It is haram to say this. But what if somebody says there is a kafara? Fast, 2 months, feet 16 skin. This is, so it is haram to do, but there is a punishment for it. It is haram to divorce the wife, a sin, yani, and a bid'ah and innovation to divorce the wife while she is in her period. But what if somebody does? Now the scholars differ. Now the talaq works, but he's sinful. But it counts as a talaq. Right? But the others said, no, it doesn't count. Because, it is a prohibition, so now he is sinful, he should repent to Allah, he should do whatever, but the talaq does not count. Okay? And this, the scholars adopt only when it is the third divorce. So if a first divorce or second divorce, still make it happen, right? As a, threat for that person, you take that opinion. But if it is a third divorce, now it's an issue, right? So you might take that opinion as well. But the two opinions are there. Like, what if the husband divorces the wife while she's not in the period, but in that time, but they have the intimate relationship? It works the same way. Same exact way. So the condition for the right divorce, to see how Allah wants to prevent the divorce as much as possible, in a time that she is not having a period and they did not have the relation. So everybody, when they are mad, they think. So when they think, the divorce possibility goes down. And if the divorce happens, it doesn't work, right? So it goes like that. So divorce is like a big fiqh, about divorce is like hundreds and hundreds of questions and possibilities. So Allah Azza wa Jal told us here about the divorce, and I covered it basically, everything. Allahu Akbar. And there is no iddah for the man, except that one I told you about. We put it in the quiz, sometimes Islamic quiz. Does the man have a iddah? You said no, but there is one case that the man have a iddah. As I told you, when he's married to 4 wives and he divorced one of them, he has to wait until she finish her iddah. So they count it as if he is doing the iddah. Yeah. All right. Yes, very well.
3 wives or
Huh?
the other wife?
What?
4 wives. Only 4. Let's say you have only 2 wives.
Yeah, that's fine.
Divorce one,
Yeah.
Only 4.
Yeah, because you still have 2 to.
Okay. Wow.
The men who are married to 4 wives in our time now, very rare. And it's not like something common. It's either it's common.
2 or maybe.
It's not common. Common. Majority of the Muslims have 1 wife. Minority, they have multiple wives. The minority of the minority, those who have more than 2. Rare, those who have 4. It's either cultural or a rare case. Cultural. Like in Africa, it's cultural. It's cultural. They have 4 wives. This is a cultural thing. It's like a common thing. You find the man is poor and he's married to 4 wives.
Oh, wow.
Because all of them work. Oh yeah. Yes.
Make your wife work.
Yeah, Sheikh Mustafa was in Ghana and he said that subhanallah, he's sitting there like a lazy whatever in home, and all of them go to the market and sell. One of them sell and one of them do this and one of them do that, and they bring him the food at the end, So and one is pregnant and the other one is like, they have their own cultural thing, So it works for them. Well, we cannot measure this, as I said, like historical. You don't measure it here. So things that can happen in Africa doesn't necessarily mean it happens in America. It happens in Europe. It happens in Malaysia. It happens in Egypt. There are.
The concubine.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're not gonna go into very detailed scenarios and stuff like that, but basically I think we covered the talaq, 2 talaqs, and the third is not his. The raj'a, how they come back.
We have you 231, right?
Yeah, we finished 2 verses today.
Which verse?
Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ. That's one issue. And for them is what is required. يعني, they have the rights as the duties required from them. وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Abdullah ibn Abbas used to beautify himself, like, comb his hair, put perfume, make sure he looks good. And when he was asked, he said, I'm doing this for my wife. When they asked him, why, the wife is the one, she has to beautify herself for her husband. He said, didn't you hear what Allah said? And also for them is what is required. Right? What you require from the woman, you also give as well. Yani, he wanted the wife to be beautiful and dressed nicely, and she also look gorgeous and all that. And he comes smelly and oily and, no. Have to brush the teeth. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the minute he enter his home, after he says salam, he start with his suwak. Before he meet his wife, he brush his teeth. Right? And a person has to take a shower if he's working hard, or his shirt is smelling or something like that. And the wife helps him also. Yani, helps him, his bath is ready, and out of love. It's not like she has to, but out of love, make the house smell good, his clothes ready, the towel, whatever. You want him to be good, he wants you to be nice, you be nice, help him to be nice as well, right? But sometimes the woman come on the nerve of the husband, Like I have some husband who complain to me, Sheikh, every time my wife makes me feel that I'm always dirty. See, she is doing the right thing, but not the right way. You understand? So she is doing the right thing. She wants her husband to smell good and all good. But sometimes she come off the wrong way to make him feel that she is making him feel that he's bad.
What is the right way?
Right way is like, as I said, to make the atmosphere around good, right? When a person always sees the place clean and the place tidy, right? This is an environment, right? Have the nice clothes, right? Put it on the bed or put it in the front, right? I have your bath ready, baby.
But now you just go shower.
Don't tell him, go take a shower. You see? Go take a shower, Ooh, man, you smell awful. What happened to you today? Don't do that. Right? Same thing. You don't like, do you think I'm fat? You're expecting him to say, no, honey, even though you know you are fat. And he's like, but you want to hear the compliment. Men, wallahi, same. They're the same way. Right? So it is like that. I know I'm sweating. I know I'm not. I know I'm tired. I know I look awful, right? But I don't need someone to remind me with that, right? Or constantly making me feel like I'm a child. Go change your clothes before you eat because you're going to make stains, and I'm the one who's going to end up washing it. Oh, what? Where did this come from? Yeah. So it's it takes time to manage these things. But that's marriage.
You mean it has to be subtle but not brutal?
Yeah. So it has to be like in a certain way. I prepared your bath. I put the salt in it, and it's waiting. It's calling for you, baby. It's calling for you. By the time you finish, you'll find the food ready. Inshallah. You need some help? Something like that. Yeah. Everybody has a child inside of him. Yeah, everyone does. So then Allah Azza wa Jalla said, for the man there is a degree. And again, that degree is not a degree of superiority, inferiority, master, slave, second hand, first hand. Never think about it like that. Think about it, Allah is the one who made that degree. That degree is out of the wisdom of Allah. That degree is to protect you. That degree is to take care of you. It is not to enslave you or anything. If a man understands it like that, the man is sinful, the man is wrong. And if the woman understands it like that, the woman also is wrong. Right? So don't buy into this narrative of, I am the man, I am above you, you down there. Don't buy into that, but politely. Right? And a man should not practice that extremely. No, your degree, yes, you have the right to instruct, to fix, to lead the ship, to drive, the vehicle of marriage. You have that right. But that right is a right of responsibility. It is not the right to be abused or the right of superiority, inferiority. So the man have to understand it within that context is putting more responsibility. Yeah, you have the right to your wife to take your permission. The opposite is not true, right? The husband does not have to take his permission. Would you allow me to go? No. But the wife wants to make sure that her husband knows where. But that's not, again, a slave-master relationship. It is more of a protective thing. You are emotionally charged. Your make, Allah Azza wa Jal made, is like you are a target, right? You can be hurt, you can be harmed. There is many things, right? Again, nobody can come and say, oh, I am a martial arts champion. No man can come close to me. Why should I take the permission of my husband now? Someone can come say that? Said, well, the rule is not designed for case by case. The rule is designed for everybody. Now you're going to have a daughter. She will see what you do and she will follow. Your daughter is not necessarily the next martial arts champion, right? So you have to behave like a regular woman with exceptional quality. Still you do. And if the man is weak, he cannot say, oh, I have to take permission of my wife because she's stronger. Nah. So this comes with every entitlement, comes with the responsibility. Every privilege comes with the responsibility. Financial, physical, emotional, psychological, religious, all of that. And Allah Azza wa Jal is Aziz, Allah Azza wa Jal is Hakim. Allah is the one powerful, dignified. Allah is wise, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Last thing, we know that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he give wasiyah, the last thing before he dies, salah, and take care of the women. The two things, right? The right of Allah and the right of the women. He did not give advice to the women to take care of the men, because they will do that naturally. See, sometimes we misunderstand things while it is in our side. Okay? And why Allah told the men, men should be angry now. Why Allah tell us to take care of the women? Why He did not tell the women to take care of us? Why Rasulullah last thing He does not tell women, you are women, you should take care of your husband. Your husband, He used to say that. Rasulullah says that in his lifetime, right? He said many things. But when he dies, it is serious now, right? It is the last will. The last will has to be given to the men because they did tend to transgress. So that's why the warning came at the last thing. اتقوا الله في النساء. اتقوا الله في النساء. Fear Allah on how you deal with your women. Right? Because the men will tend not to fear Allah. Will tend to transgress. The ego will come and will, right? So the wasiyah come for men because of that. Yeah. And he said that in the last farewell khutbah in Hajj as well. And then someone asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, what is the right of one's wife upon us? Yani, what is the right of my wife upon me? He said, أن تطعمها إذا طعمت. You feed her when you eat, so you get food. وتكسوها إذا اكتسيت. Yani also you give her the clothing and all that. ولا تضرب الوجه ولا تقبح. Yani no slapping. Because the first thing when somebody's beating someone, what do they do first? Slap their face, right? So Sahih said it's not right, haram to do. And ولا تقبح, yani do not say the bad words. And the tuqabbih, not only saying bad words or curse words as the kids say. Not only that. Qabih is opposite of Hasan. Hasan means everything good. Qabih means everything ugly. Means don't say bad things, like putting her down. Like putting her down?
Yes.
You never know how to cook. Always the food is salty. تقبيح هذا. This is qabih, يعني making her bad. In that aspect. Instead, tell her, you know what? I will teach you a trick to make the salt good in the food all the time. If you really care, right? But the point is to criticize, then that's how it comes. If the point is to criticize, putting the woman down, if a man is smart, and most of them they are not, I'm sorry to say, but those who are without the deen, they are not smart. That's why you keep putting down. They don't know that they're hurting themselves. Because when you put somebody always down, they're not going to function good. So actually, you are helping more of destruction, now not building. So putting down son, daughters, wife, whatever, right? Employee, you keep putting them down. Always mistakes. Every day mistake. And then they are no good for nothing. They are not gonna give you anything because they are helpless. They are worthless. And instead, if you help others overcome their defects, then they, in the long run, they give you what you want. In the long run. Yes. ولا تهجر إلا في البيت. يعني do not desert your wife outside of the house. That's a good one too. يعني for men, if they are angry or something like that, they go spend it with their friends most of the time, most of the night, they come back late. That's not good. Right? But الهجر, deserting, يعني it has to be within the house limit, you know. And it has also rulings and it has ways to do things. Inshallah, next time we continue with the rules because we have like 2 more verses about talaq still. So basically, what verse did we do? 229 we did?
Yes.
230 we get the general gist of it. Inshallah, there are a couple of rules in there. We are going to discuss them, inshallah. 230 we did, right?
229 to 230.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, inshallah, next time we take 231 and 232, inshallah. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam.